Manish Tiwari, you want to respond to what you've now heard from Jai Panda, particularly on oil prices?
Well, again, I think my friend Mr. Jai Panda is in a bit of a difficult situation. Let me give you some numbers. Between 2014 and 2022, the government collected 27.2 lakh crores in terms of excise and in terms of income tax and dividend from the oil companies. The breakdown is 3,625 crores from excise duty and 4,23,775 crores from income tax and dividend. Now, they keep repeating that oil bonds is the cause that why they had to collect so much of money. The total amount, the total quantum of oil bonds which has been discharged in the last 8 years, and which is almost about 95%, is 93,000 crores. So you collect 27 lakh crores, you keep blaming 93,000 crores, and those oil bonds were taken out essentially to ensure that the price of elevated crude oil prices is not passed on to the people, and then you want to turn it into a virtue. Rajdeep, let me give you some numbers. In the April of 2011, crude was at $150 US. Petrol was at 58.56 per litre. In the July of 2022, crude is at $98.94 US. Petrol is at 96.72 per litre. On the 1st of March 2014, LPG cylinder was 410 rupees. Today an LPG cylinder is 1,003 rupees. So therefore, even if the oil bonds which were taken out, essentially to ensure that the impact of high crude oil prices is not passed on to the consumer, the total burden just comes to 93,000 and some odd crores.
But Mr. Tiwari, the one question in your numbers is that state revenues have also benefited. Let's be very clear, it's not just the center. The states have also benefited from the various taxes that have been imposed on fuel, because ultimately oil is the revenue that both state governments, whether Congress ruled, opposition ruled, and the BJP are benefiting from.
Well, Rajdeep, the centre takes the lead on a large number of issues. If the centre would have moderated excise duties, the states would have also fallen in line, and many states have actually moderated excise duties over a period of time. Let me give you an example. In Punjab, while the excise on petrol is higher, the excise on diesel has always been lower, primarily because that is something which is an agrarian fuel which is consumed by the farmers for the purpose of cultivation. So essentially this argument is a bit insidious that we've had to collect 27 lakh crores, and even solar energy. I mean, I would love to be enlightened. What is the share of solar energy in India's energy mix today? I do not think it should be more than 3 or 4%. So therefore, those massive investments that Jay has talked about, have those massive investments really fructified into any tangible gain to the consumer, who, if you would have passed on the benefit of lower oil prices, would have actually had to pay 50 rupees per litre rather than paying almost double.
Jai, you want to quickly respond?
Yes, Rajdeep, I think you asked a very valid question to Manish, which I don't think got a good response, which is the fact that following the union government's lead, the BJP-run state governments all reduced their taxes on fuel to help the average citizen, which the states run by Manish's party, albeit there are very few of them now, they did not match. But the second thing I'd like to say is that, Manish is a great wordsmith and orator, and, undervalued by his party. I think he should have more important responsibilities. But he's not an accountant. And so there is a basic principle of accounting called double entry accounting. He talked about all the oil revenues and raised questions about how much solar has actually been set up. Again, let me repeat that India has now set up the third largest increase in solar capacity in the world. And this has happened just in the last 3-4 years in the Modi government. The more important thing is, for double entry accounting, you have to keep in track that the revenues from the fuel sector, oil sector, doesn't only go back into oil or solar. Remember this, during the pandemic period, now for more than 2.5 years, the union government has given food aid to 800 million Indians continuously every month for now nearly 2.5 years. 800 million Indians every month extra food aid under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Kalyan scheme. So, you know, this would not have been possible without some of these revenues, and these are the people who have specifically benefited, who would have been harmed by high inflation. So the basic needs of the largest majority of Indians have been taken care of through government intervention while maintaining inflation lower than almost every other country. I think that is a remarkable performance, and that's why Manish and his colleagues continue to turn a blind eye to what people like Raghuram Rajan and Deloitte and Bloomberg keep saying, praising the Modi government.